Let's find our seat, and remember your alignment here in your seat just to make it a bit more active. Your toes are pointing forward, and if you're trying to keep your knees protected, a good cue is to usually align the center of your knee or point it in the same direction as your middle toe, more or less. And then we're aligning those knees with the hips, so those knees are hip width. And then those shoulders straight over hips and the head right between your shoulders. Shoulders away from your ears, your hands can rest on your thighs, and if it's comfortable, you can close your eyes. And just making that transition to now focusing inward a bit more. And just checking in, noticing what you're bringing to your practice today. And there are some things that you have to carry with you, but then there might be some things that you can put to the side for a moment or for 50 minutes or so. So as you assess what you're bringing to the mat, also see what needs to stay, has to stay, and what can be just put to the side for a little while. And then, of course, we'll tune into that breath. So notice your next inhale and your next exhale. And maybe you're making that breath a bit more obvious. Usually drawing attention to it will make it a bit more intentional, a little deeper, a little longer. And then eventually transitioning to breathing in and out through the nose, if that works for you. And using your exhales to find a bit more engagement through that center, through that core, that lower belly. And then right here, see if you can find a bit more action through your feet and through your sit bones. So those parts of the body that are in touch with a surface become a bit more active. So you're not just dropping weight into those areas, but you're using those areas to push away from. And as your glutes become a bit more active, you might feel your thighs under your hands engage a little bit too. And as your base becomes active, you might be able to lengthen up a bit more through your spine. So we've gone from a passive seat to now a more active seat. And let's find 3 breaths like this, lengthening up a bit more with the inhale and activating, engaging, and stabilizing as you exhale. Take another breath in and breath out. And then use your next inhale to reach your arms wide, and then all the way overhead. You might lift your gaze, opening eyes. And then as you exhale, lower those arms all the way down by your side, and you might lower your gaze, chin towards your chest. And do this a couple more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale and lower. And inhale, lift. And exhale, lower, taking space. And then as you inhale, let's lift. And then on the exhale, lower your right hand down and come into a side stretch, but try to keep grounded through your left sit bone and left foot. And then as you inhale, come back through center. And on your exhale, find your other side. And inhale back through center. One more time each side. So remember, you're staying active through both glutes and feet, legs. And back through center. And to your other side, exhale. And now on your inhale, come back through center. And on your exhale, bring those arms wide and keep them shoulder height. Push the palms away and let's find some circles with those shoulders. Spread your fingers as best you can. And keep your elbows extended. And then let's switch direction. I guess this is like the airplane that Bill was on. Now everything's going to be referenced to flying, you'll see. And then with your next inhale, point your fingers away from you, your palms facing down, and then make fists with those hands. So thumb is going to be wrapping around those fingers. And then extend, so you're reaching your knuckles away from you. And then on your exhale, drop them. And then do that 2 more times. Inhale and drop, exhale, and inhale and drop, exhale. And then with your next inhale, spread out those fingers, palms now facing forward. And on your exhale, bring your right arm across the chest. Try to keep your elbow extended. Left hand draws that arm in. And now reach those fingers away from you and drop your right shoulder. See if you can feel that upper back stretch, right side. Full breath in and breath out. And then as you inhale, bring those arms out. And on your exhale, your left arm crosses. And same thing now on this side. Reaching through those left fingers and then making a point of dropping your left shoulder. Full breath in and breath out. And then as you inhale, open those arms out. And on your exhale, lower them down by your side. Find some circles with your wrists in one direction. And then switch in the other. And then from here, stabilize those wrists and just take some gentle circles with your shoulders. So now more passive than active. But you can still find action through your legs. So again, engage through glutes, press the floor away, thighs engage. You might feel yourself grow a little taller. And then as you inhale, reach those arms again all the way up. And on your exhale, bend your right elbow, hand drops behind the head, and we're just drawing that elbow in with the left hand. Full breath in here. And breath out. And now as you inhale, both arms are going to lift. And on your exhale, left elbow bends. Same thing on this side. So armpit, left armpit. Maybe you're feeling it through those left ribs. Full breath in. And breath out. And then as you inhale, reach both arms up. Find some space between your feet and your knees, and we're going for a forward fold. So reach forward first, and then down. Hands to your shins, broad upper back, elbows wide, halfway lift, inhale. And exhale, you fold. So as you fold, your head might drop towards the floor. You might look under your chair. And then do that again. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And one more. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. With your next inhale, rise all the way up. Reach your arms overhead. And on your exhale, lower those arms down. Bring your feet back to hip width. And let's bring that right knee in towards the chest. So hands can come behind that knee. And then from here, begin with some ankle circles. So awaken that right foot, that right ankle. You could wiggle toes too. And notice if you're beginning to lean back. And if so, try to bring yourself up once again. And then switch direction. And then let's stabilize that ankle and let's go for that right hip. And when you're doing the hip, some days 2 hands feels good and you do it with 2 hands. Some days 1 hand might feel better. Okay, so just check in and then switch direction. And this goes to that idea of our practice. We want to stir away from automatic movements. So we want to make as many of the movements we do intentional, and imagine questioning them every time, right? So how does this feel? Is this good for me? Does this work? What if I did it a different way? Okay. And then with your next inhale, bring that knee in, and on your exhale, straighten that leg all the way out, push through the heel, and then lower that heel to the ground. Inhale, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, hands to your hips and hinge forward and down. Toes towards the shin. See if you can feel that right calf getting a stretch. Back of your right ankle. And press evenly through both sides of your foot. Take another breath. And then as you inhale, let's rise up, reach your arms overhead. And on your exhale, find a twist. Left hand behind you, right hand crossing over. See if you can keep your spine lifted. Take another breath in and breath out. With your next inhale, return through center. Arms will lift. And on your exhale, hands to hips. Engage through that right thigh, hip flexor, core. And on your inhale, lift that leg without changing your spine. And as you exhale, bend that knee and cross your ankle over thigh, shin, or the ankle. Okay. The important thing here is to try and find external rotation through the hip and the thigh. Okay. Flex your foot and then lengthen up and take it where you need it today. So if you're already feeling a nice stretch through the right glute and outer hip, you might stay here. If you can keep a neutral spine and you need a bit more sensation, you hinge forward and down. Okay? You want to stay away from rounding first because that's not really going to do that much. Okay? What you want to do is the hinge. That's what's going to get you that extra stretch. We'll take 2 more breaths. And then with your next inhale, rise up, reach your arms up. And we're going again into a twist. So again, left hand behind you. And this time your right hand could come onto your thigh. Or if it's available, bring it to the sole of that right foot. Okay. And if you've got your hand at the sole of that right foot, don't change anything else. So that foot is active. Your hand is pushing into the foot. And then your foot pushes back into your hand. Breath in and breath out. 1 more. And now use your inhale to return through center. Reach those arms up. And on your exhale, arms wide and down by your side. And then release that right foot back to the ground. Notice any sensations between the legs. Take an inhale, shoulders up. And then as you exhale, shoulders down. 2 more like that. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Now with your inhale, your arms will lift. And as you exhale, now hands behind your left knee, and we're drawing that left knee in. Okay? Again, both hands or one hand. And then find your circles, left ankle and toes. Just awakening this foot. Keeping your spine lifted. And that reminder every now and then, shoulders down. And then switch direction. And then with your next inhale, let's flex that foot. And then push out through that heel. And then on your exhale, lower that heel all the way down. Oh, we didn't do the hip, did we? Let's come back. So we've gone from the ankle, we've got to find the rotations in the hip. So let's find first some rotations in that left hip. And then switch direction. And notice that with these rotations, so the hip joint is a ball and socket, so there's a potential to rotate quite a bit. Okay, so it's a joint that can make these kind of circles. And then with your next inhale now, yes, we're bringing that knee back through center and we're pushing that left heel out, push. And then let's lower that left heel to the ground. Inhale, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, hands to your hips and find that hinge forward and down. And you could keep hands at hips or you could lower them to your shins. And again, see if you can feel now stretch through the left calf, back of your left ankle. And if you're looking at your left foot, evenly push forward through the pinky side and the big toe side. Another breath in and breath out. And then as you inhale, let's rise all the way up, reach your arms overhead, and we're going into our twist. Right hand behind you, left hand crosses over. And we're lengthening up on the inhale and twisting a little deeper on the exhale. One more breath. And then bring yourself back through center. Inhale, arms can lift. And as you exhale, hands to your hips. Engage through thigh, core. Inhale and lift that left leg. And now as you exhale, bend that knee and find your figure four on this side. Okay, and remember, if your thigh is not working, bring it down. So lengthen your right leg out and cross at your shin or a little lower. And then take it where you need it. So see how that left outer hip glute feels, and if it needs a little extra stretch, you might hinge forward. And the more that left knee drops towards the ground, you'll get also that extra opening through the hip. So quite a bit of things to play with here. Okay, but be where you're at and work with that. So some action in your left leg is helpful for that knee and to keep a bit of control over this stretch. Another breath in and breath out. And one more breath in and breath out. And now use your inhale to rise up, reach your arms overhead. And we're going again into a twist, right hand behind you and your left hand or to your thigh, or again, if it's available, to the foot, sole of the foot, and then push the foot into the hand, hand pushes back into the foot, and then you turn towards your right. Breath in and breath out. One more. Use your next inhale to come back through center. Reach those arms overhead so you're stretching, lengthening the side body. And as you exhale, arms lower and left foot lowers back to the ground. Then you can bring hands back to your thighs, and let's inhale to lift those heels. And exhale, just lower your left heel. And then inhale, left heel lifts. And then lower your right heel. And then lift. And lower the left. And lift. And lower the right. Now both heels are going to lift, inhale. And as you exhale, lower them down. With your next inhale, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, wrap your right hand around your left wrist, and let's pull that wrist up first, and then let's take it over to the right. And as you take it over to the right, don't worry about how far you go, but worry about grounding through your left sit bone and left foot. And imagine your left ribs kind of pushing towards the left. And then inhale, bring yourself back through center and find your other side. So left hand around your right wrist, and first we'll reach up and then we'll take it over. And then again, bring awareness to your right sit bone and your right foot and push into them. And then imagine puffing your right ribs towards the right side. And now inhale back through center. And on your exhale, bend your elbows and draw them all the way down to your waist. And we'll do this 2 more times. Elbows and arms lift. Exhale and lower those elbows and then squeeze them in. And 1 more time, lift. And exhale, lower. And then as you inhale, lift those arms. And on your exhale, arms wide and down by your side. And now with your arms hanging down, lift your shoulders, inhale. And lower those shoulders, exhale. 2 more times. Inhale, exhale, and inhale, and exhale. And now as you inhale, we're going to come to stand. So bring weight into those feet. Bring your arms in front of you. And then hover your sit bones over that chair on your inhale. And then on your exhale, come back to that chair. And see if you can slow this down 2 more times. Inhale, weight into those feet, hover. Exhale, sit bones back, spine back. 1 more time. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, and back. And now with your next inhale, come forward. Lift those sit bones. On your exhale, hands to your thighs. Take a full breath in here. Full breath out. And then as you inhale, lift your arms and then straighten legs. And on your exhale, bring your right hand down and come into a side stretch. Inhale, come back through center. And then left hand down, other side. Inhale, back through center. And on your exhale, lower those arms down by your side. Okay, so let's come to the chair. And we'll do a little bit of table pose using the chair, the seat of the chair. Okay, so we'll be planting hands on the seat of the chair. And we're going to align those hands and those shoulders. And then those feet, knees, and hips. And as best you can, see if you can find a neutral spine. So let's go through some cows and cats first. So as you inhale, bring your chest forward, lift your gaze. And then as you exhale, round your spine. And begin to notice those hamstrings a bit more as you come into those cow poses, right? So as you bring your chest forward and you lift your gaze, imagine your sit bones lifting up towards the ceiling, but your heels are still planted. And then as you exhale, those sit bones draw towards one another as you round your spine. Okay, let's find that a couple more times. Inhale. Feel those hamstrings getting stretched. Sit bones are lifting up, but your heels are planted. Exhale as you round your spine, your hamstrings get a break here and rest. Come more into a neutral. And then again, 1 more time. Inhale, lift those sit bones. Feel those hamstrings. And then round, exhale. Those hamstrings get a break, a release. And then let's find now that neutral spine. So there might be a little pull on the hamstrings here. And if it becomes too much, feel free to bend your knees. We're trying to keep that lower back neutral and then all the way up through the upper back. So broaden those shoulder blades. Lengthen the back of your neck. You might be looking straight down to the seat of your chair. And take a full breath in right here. And a full breath out. And then as best you can, without changing your spine, we're just going to open up the legs to the side. So it's what I was saying, we'll work the outer hips a bit. So we'll start with the left leg. You're keeping it straight, The toes are still pointing towards the chair and you're just opening it up to the side. There you go, nice, yeah. And notice you're keeping your foot flexed, right? And then inhale, open any amount, so it doesn't have to go very high. And exhale, lower. And again, try not to change that back body. Inhale, open. So you're not using your lower back or your sacrum to move that leg. You're using the outer hip. Inhale again, open. Exhale, lower. And one more time. Inhale, open. And exhale, lower. And now you're planting through that left foot, and we'll switch sides. So the same thing now with the right leg. So as you inhale, open. Exhale, lower. See if you can feel that outer hip, outer thigh. Inhale, open. Exhale, lower. Inhale, open. Exhale, lower. And one more time. Inhale, open. And exhale, lower. Nice job. Now both feet are planted. With your next inhale, again, cow and cat, chest forward, gaze up, sit bones lift. On your exhale, spine rounds, head drops. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. And round. Exhale. And now staying in your table pose and staying with your feet straight on the knees and hips, we're just going to lift and lower the heels. So try not to shift forward with your hips as you lift your heels. Okay, so you're lifting them straight up. With your next inhale, lift those heels. And then as you exhale, lower. And then again, inhale, lift. So nothing else changes. Try not to shift forward. Exhale, lower, nice. And again, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. And now for a little break, on your inhale, come all the way up to stand. Reach your arms overhead. And as you exhale, bring those hands behind you. Interlace them at your lower back. Inhale, straighten those elbows so your knuckles are reaching down. See if you can feel an opening through the fronts of your shoulders. Your shoulder blades coming close together. Full breath in. And now on your exhale, only lower the chin to your chest. You're finding that stretch through the back of your neck. Another breath in. And breath out. And now inhale, release your hands, reach your arms overhead, lift your gaze, and on your exhale, lower your left hand down, side stretch. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale to your other side. Inhale, back through center. And exhale, lower those arms down by your side. So let's come back to that table pose at the chair. Planting again those hands on the seat of the chair, finding your alignment once again. Looking for that neutral spine. And this time on your inhale, that right leg is going to rise behind you. And then as you exhale, draw that knee into your chest and round your spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw that right knee to the outside of your right elbow. Inhale, lengthen. And now exhale, draw that right knee towards your left elbow underneath you. Now inhale, lengthen. And now on your exhale, bring that right foot, cross it behind the left and plant it to the outside of that left foot. So you're crossing your legs here. And you cross them at your thighs if that's available. And you gauge how close those feet need to be or how much distance between them, you know, depending on that flexibility in the hips and the legs, they might be closer. And then from here, let's find also some cows and cats. So bring that chest forward. Think about lifting those sit bones. And then exhale, round your spine. Do that 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. And round. Exhale. And then as you inhale, neutral spine, and your right leg goes all the way out once again. And then exhale, let's lower that foot, coming back into that table pose we started with, right? Find another cow and cat. Inhale. Round, exhale. And then neutral spine, and we'll go to the left side. So when you're ready, your left leg rises out behind you. And then as you exhale, knee to chest, round your spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left knee to the outside of your left elbow. Inhale, lengthen. And now left knee crosses towards your right elbow. Inhale, lengthen. And now on your exhale, that left foot goes over to the right and it plants on the outside of that right foot. So again, you're crossing your legs. And we'll find some cows and cats here too. Inhale, again, chest up. Again, imagine now those sit bones lifting up too. And then exhale, round. And 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. And round. Exhale. And now as you inhale, neutral spine, left leg reaches all the way out. And on your exhale, return that left foot to the mat, back into your table pose. With your next inhale, rise all the way up to stand, reach your arms overhead. And on your exhale, left arm down, side stretch. Inhale back through center. Exhale, other side. Inhale, center. On your exhale, hands behind you, and this time switch the interlace of your fingers, so it's the opposite thumb on top. Sending those knuckles down, opening again the chest, the front of the shoulders, full breath in. Exhale, chin to chest. Breath in. Breath out. And one more, breath in. And out. And then as you inhale, release, reach those arms all the way overhead. And on your exhale, lower those arms down by your side. And then let's move to the floor so we can move the chair away. We'll do some table poses on the floor. And we'll be on knees for a bit, so if you need like extra cushioning for the knees, make sure you've got it. Ideally, cushioning that's kind of a bit rigid, right? So you don't want a cushion that kind of makes you wobble. You want to feel stable through those knees. And then at any time when the wrists are getting tired of this, like mine tend to do that recently, so at any time feel free to go on to fists or to take a break. Sometimes changing the angle of your fingers, so rather than always having them pointing straight forward, you could fan them out to the side a bit. And remember about making a wedge. You could also fold your mat so that there's a little bump, and then have your hand kind of go on the incline. So the base of your hand would be on the lump, and then your fingers would go down off it. Okay, so that's just a way of increasing the angle at your wrist, and also of sending weight into your fingers so your wrist doesn't take it all. So just a few options to always keep in mind. And there's always options, right? It's just we have to give ourselves permission to use them sometimes. All right, so table pose. Same idea as when we were doing it at the chair, neutral spine. And then see if you can lift those sit bones a little bit more. Okay, so you might not get as much of a stretch in your hamstrings here because we stretched them before, but also because in this table pose, your knee is bent. When the knees are bent, the hamstrings don't stretch as much. So with your next inhale, find a cow and a cat. Bring your chest forward, lift your gaze. And then as you exhale, round your spine. And 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. And round. Exhale. And now with a neutral spine, we're going to get into that outer hip, outer thigh once again. Okay, so we'll keep now the left knee bent, and we're just going to lift it out to the side. So as you inhale, left knee opens and lifts. And then on your exhale, lowers. So we're trying to lift it and keep it in line with the hip. And as best you can, avoid kind of shifting your hips to the side. You want to keep them neutral as best you can. It's difficult. And then again, inhale, lifts that left knee to the side. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And don't get too stuck on how high that knee goes, okay? It's just feel that outer hip working. And lower. 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And 1 more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower all the way down. We'll do the same thing now with the right knee, right hip. So when you're ready, inhale, right knee opens. Exhale, lower. Inhale, open. Exhale, lower. Inhale, open. Exhale, lower. 1 more. Inhale, open. And exhale, lower that knee all the way down to the mat. And now with your next inhale, take a cow pose. Bring your chest forward, lift your gaze. And on your exhale, now round your spine and see if you can come onto your fingertips. Walk your hands back towards your knees and then really round your spine. So your palms are lifted here. Your wrists are getting a break. You're pressing down through your fingertips and you're finding extra space in that upper back, mid back. Okay, full breath in and full breath out. 1 more. And then from here, let's come all the way onto the forearms. So we're kind of in a table pose, but instead of on hands, on forearms. So elbows more or less under shoulders and your forearms straight out in front of you, palms planted, fingers spread. And then from here, on your inhale, lift your left leg out and up. And then as you exhale, plant the ball of the foot. So your leg is extended, knee is lifted, and you're just pushing your left heel away. Breath in here. Breath out. And now we're going to lift and lower that left leg. So on your inhale, lift. See if you can work that left glute. And then as you exhale, lower. And then again, inhale, lift. No change in the rest of the body. Exhale, lower. 2 more times. Inhale, lift. So the knee stays extended as you lift. And exhale, lower. And inhale 1 more time, lift. And now exhale, lower, bend that knee, return that knee to the mat. And we'll do the same thing now with the right side. Okay, so as you inhale, your right leg lengthens out and then plant the ball of the foot. Okay, first from here, just situate yourself. Use your arms, your forearms to push the floor away. So don't let yourself collapse towards the ground. Okay? And then keeping that knee extended, we're lifting and lowering. So inhale, lift, right leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, lift. And then on your exhale, lower. Bend that knee and return. From here, take a full breath in. And then on your exhale, send your sit bones towards your heels and find your child's pose. So resting pose now, and this resting pose might be a nice rest for shoulders, so they might feel a little tired, for wrists. So sometimes here bending those elbows, you could grab opposite elbows and resting your head on your forearms might feel good for those arms and shoulders. Sometimes if it's available, if your head feels supported towards the ground or on a block, your arms by your side with your palms lifted might also feel good for those shoulders. So you could play a bit, test out different versions and see what might work best. And then once you've committed to a posture, take 3 cycles of breath. And allow your exhales to drop out of the mouth, so you're letting go of effort and tension. And take another breath in. And breath out. And then with your next inhale, slowly lift your spine. And then we're going to come up, so lifting those sit bones off your heels. And then see if you can send your feet to the side. And then lower your sit bones all the way down onto the ground. And then bring those feet in front of you. So we're ending in a seat with those legs in front of us. And then once you are here, we're going to get, again, a figure 4 stretch for those outer hips, but we're going to do it lying down. So let's make our way there and grab your block and bring your block with you. We might use it also on our backs. So planting your feet, maybe bringing those arms in front of you, taking a full breath in. And then on your exhale, coming halfway. Taking another breath in here, opening that chest, keeping your toes planted as best you can, and then lowering all the way down onto your mat. And then once you're down on your mat, let's bring those knees into the chest. Let's just rock a bit from side to side. Maybe some circles with your knees, just a way of acquainting that back body to being on the mat. And then let's go straight for that figure 4. So couple options. Left foot planted, the knee bent, and then we cross that right ankle just over that left thigh. And this might feel like the right place. You might already be feeling a nice stretch for that right hip. You might stay here, or you might then lift your left leg or left foot off the ground and draw your left thigh in towards your chest. You could use your hands here. So if your hands can wrap around your left thigh, you could draw that thigh in with your arms. If you have your strap available, your hands don't reach your thigh and you want to bring your thigh in, sometimes bringing the strap around the thigh and then drawing it in with the strap also will work. And if you're drawing that thigh in, you want to try and resist a bit and push the right knee away. Okay, so left thigh comes in, right knee draws away from you. And remember, you can also do this with the left foot planted. It's the same idea as the one we do in the chair. It's just our relationship to gravity here has changed. Okay, now gravity is grounding that back body. On the chair, gravity was pulling on that right knee. So now what we try to do is resist a bit by using the hand or the elbow to push the knee away from the chest. Let's take 3 more breaths. And then from here, release that right foot. Bring both feet to the ground if they're not there already. Feet wide, let your knees rest against one another. Take a full breath in. And then on your exhale, draw the knees or drop your knees towards the right. Feet are wide, and then inhale, bring those knees back through center. And then drop them to your left. And bring those knees back through center. And now let's find figure 4 on the other side. So that left ankle is going to cross over that right thigh. Okay, so your foot is just off that thigh. Your toes are still drawing towards your shin. And if your right foot is planted, you might stay here, working that left knee away from you. Or you could go to the other version in which you draw that right thigh towards your chest and you resist, you still push that left knee away. And again, just that visual of this figure 4 that we do seated. You know, your body is in the same position. It's just relating to gravity in a different way. So allow that back body to relax towards the ground. And see if you can invite softness in jaw and eyes. We'll take 3 more breaths. And then as you're ready, release. And then once again, bring your feet to the mat, feet wide, knees rest against one another. Take a full breath in. And then as you exhale, drop your knees to the left. And inhale, bring them back through center. And then drop them to the right. And inhale back through center. And now pause here. Take a full breath in. Full breath out. And then just check in and see if there is another movement or group of movements that your body might need before finding stillness. Okay? And it could be that you're done with movement, so that's also an option. But just check in and give yourself, the opportunity to move in any other way. And you might give yourself about 5 breaths. And then eventually find the most comfortable position for your body today and settle in for about a minute of not doing. So as best you can, let go of as much effort as possible. Give the voluntary actions in the body rest. And maybe give the practice that moment to save. That analogy of saving the work we just did so that we don't lose it. So this is like pushing that save button, letting the practice be assimilated by the body, letting the body keep what works for it, shed what doesn't. And you've just got to allow that to happen. And that requires some trust also. Trust in the process, in the practice. And then come back to that breath. And as you make your breath deeper and longer, find gentle movement in fingers and toes, ankles and wrists, maybe neck. Maybe on your inhale, you stretch those arms overhead, reach them away from your toes. And on your exhale, roll onto one side, knees towards the chest and arms supporting the head. Give yourself a breath in. And maybe an open mouth exhale. And then let's make our way up. And we could end practice in a seated position, but if you'd rather stay lying down, feel free to do that too. We'll have hands at heart, and we'll take this moment to first acknowledge the practice. And then we'll acknowledge ourselves for practicing today. And we'll acknowledge those who practice with us. And then all those who make it possible. And we'll end with a word that means that the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.